All right, kiddo. Let's start with back in the beginning of the organic unit and what I taught them. They took a quiz last week on Friday, so I'm gonna do what I did with them last week in this video and the next video. I'll try to keep them as short as possible. All right. So the first thing we need to know is that when we have an organic compound, let's underline this. Organic compound, it must contain a carbon and a hydrogen. It might include nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, chlorine. It might have those things, that's lowercase. It might have those things, but not always. The most important thing that you know is that it has a carbon and a hydrogen. And the next thing you need to know is that carbon, because it has 4 valence electrons, 1, 2, 3, 4, it forms 4 bonds. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to make sure that when you look at any organic compound that you have 4 lines coming out of every carbon. So there's 4 lines right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you recall back from the bonding unit, we used a word called tetrahedral to explain the shape of something that had 4 bonds coming out of it. So carbon is tetrahedral in shape. All right, after we talked about carbon, we started with this chart, which is table Q in your reference tables. And what I did was I discussed the word homologous and the word hydrocarbon. Homologous means that they're all the same in some general way. We're going to look at that in a second. The second word is hydrocarbon. Now, a hydrocarbon, okay, this hydrocarbon is an organic compound that is only, and I'm going to underline that 60,000 times, only carbon and hydrogen. So if I get something like this, CH4, that's a hydrocarbon, or C3H8, that's a hydrocarbon. CH3COOH has oxygens in it. That is not a hydrocarbon. So we are going to start with hydrocarbons first. And the first type of hydrocarbon we'll talk about is this guy right here, the alkanes. Now, the alkanes are made of carbon and hydrogen, but their ratio of carbons to hydrogens follows this general formula. Okay, so let's say the alkane has 1 carbon in it. Let me do this for you. Hold on a second. CnH2n plus 2. And I got that from here. Okay, if the hydrocarbon has 1 carbon in it, then that N is a 1. That N is a 1. And then H is 2 times 1 plus 2, which will give me 2 times 1 is 2 plus 2 more is 4. So we got CH4. There's a 1 and a 4. That is a alkane. Now, let's say I had 2 hydrogens. I'm going to erase this if I can. Let's see. Let's say I had 2 carbons. What would the formula for that alkane be? And I'm trying to do this quickly because I don't want to be forever. Let's say we have C2. H is going to be 2 times 2 plus 2, which is going to be C2H. 4 plus 2 is 6. So that alkane has 2 carbons and 6 hydrogens. And then lastly, we'll do one more example. C3H, 2 times 3 plus 2 more. Remember, this is 2n, so this 3 is an n, which is the same number as this. 2 times 3 plus 2 is 6 plus 2. Okay. So what I did on this page is simply just write a hydrocarbon, an alkane, with 5 carbons and 12 hydrogens, and that formula right there is called the molecular formula. Remember molecular formulas? Molecular formula tells you the actual number of atoms. So this thing has 5 carbons and 12 hydrogens. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw 5 carbons in a row, and if you remember from what I said in the first slide, you have to have 4 lines around every carbon. So if I look at this carbon right here, there's only 1 line so far around it. I need 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 3 more to it. And that'll give me my 4 bonds around that carbon. This carbon already had 2, so I added 2 more. This one had 2, so I added 2 more. This one had 2, so I added 2 more. And this one has 1, so I'm going to add 3 more. If I count up 1, 2, 3, I paused you so you didn't have to listen to me count. If I counted them up, you will see that this thing now has 12 hydrogens around it. So it's a good way to check yourself. Okay, so we discussed molecular formula. This thing is called a structural formula. Structural formula. So we've got molecular formula, we've got structural formula, and the next one that I taught them in class was called a condensed structural formula. All right, so I rewrote it on this page. We're going to do a condensed structural formula. This thing that I have written here is a structural formula. Also want to point out that I didn't write all the H's in, and you don't have to. As long as those lines are there, it's understood that there's H's at the end of each one of these lines. Okay, so this thing has 12. It's the same thing I just did on the other page. All right, condensed structural formula. So let's take this carbon. That carbon has 3 hydrogens attached to it. So we're going to write CH3. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take this carbon right here and we're going to write CH2 because it has 2 hydrogens on it right there and right there, right? Then the next one, I'm flipping back and forth with my highlighters here, is another CH2. So CH2. And we're going to keep going, this one and then this one, CH2 and then CH3. And you see how these are all written on one line? That's called a condensed structural formula. This is the structural one up here. This is the condensed structural formula. So we have conquered molecular formula. So again, the molecular formula is this thing that I just circled. The structural formula shows us the structure, and the condensed structural formula writes the structure but all on one line. The only one that I didn't cover with you right now is the empirical formula. And for the C5H12, the C5H12 is the empirical formula because you can't reduce it any further. Let's say I take another alkane and I make it C2H6. Okay, that's a molecular formula for a different alkane. It fits that CnH2n plus 2, but I can reduce that to C1H3. That's the empirical formula. This is the molecular formula. Molecular is telling I have 2 carbons and 6 hydrogens. Empirical, I have 1 and 3. All right, so I just covered, whoops, I need a pen. I just covered this, and this. We now need to learn how to name it. But before we get to the names, I'm going to leave all this to the very end. Let's just make sure you understand that there are 3 homologous series. So these follow the same basic pattern, except for their general formulas are a little bit different. So the alkenes, let's say I have 2 carbons in my first alkene. There can't be an alkene with 1 carbon. It starts at 2. And then it's going to follow the formula CnH2n. So H is 2 times 2, which is 4. So the first one is C2H4. Now the reason why there can't be a compound with 1 carbon for an alkene is because what makes an alkene is that they contain a double bond. And you can't have a double bond if you only have 1 carbon. All right, the next one in the series is going to be C3H. 2 times 3 is 6. The next one is going to be C4H. 2 times 4, which is going to be 8. You see what I'm doing here? I'm putting that N, that number, this number, 2, 3, or 4, and multiplying it by this 2 right here. Okay, so the next one would be C5H, say it out loud. Oh, very good. 10, okay, C5H10. And they all contain a double bond. All right, then we have, again, I need a pen. Then we have the alkynes that follow the same general formula, CnH2n minus 2. So we'll do 2 carbons for the first one, H, 2 times 2 minus 2, so that's C2H. This part is 4 minus 2 is 2. So C2H2 is the first alkyne. C3H2 times 3 is 6 minus 2 is 4. C4H 4 times 2 is 8 minus 2 is 6. So these are the series, right? Remember I said before that it was a series? 2 is the first one in the series, 3 is the second one, 4 is the next one will be 5, then 6, H10, and that's the series. Now how are they all the same? How are they homologous to each other? They all follow this general formula, okay? Now, remember how I said that the alkenes have a double bond? Well, if you look right here, up here, the alkynes have a triple bond. The alkanes, which I didn't mention before, all have single bonds. So I'm going to write that down for you. All right, so I wrote it down for you. I want you to pause me and write that down somewhere so that you know. You could even write it right in your reference table. If you have an alkane, you have all single bonds. If you have an alkene, you have one double bond somewhere in your compound. And if you have an alkyne, you have a triple bond somewhere in your compound. All right, so then I spent a day or two and we talked about if I wrote a compound, a structural formula up on the board, can you tell me if it's an alkane, an alkene, or an alkyne? Right, this one is an alkene with an A, okay? And the reason I knew it was an alkane is because it has all single bonds. Now, you should also be able to go from the molecular formula and tell me if it's an alkane, alkene, or alkyne. Now, this one is C5H10. So you have to look at each one of these formulas, CnH2n plus 2, CnH2n, or CnH2n minus 2, and see which one it fits. And it fits this one right here. So it's C5H10 fits CnH2n, which means it is an alkene. And alkenes, if you recall, have a double bond in them. So we went back and forth between alkanes, alkenes, alkynes, and we practiced that back and forth. Can you tell me what everything is? So I want you to look at a few of these and see if you can do them. So hold on, I'll write some for you. All right, so here you have a couple different ones. I want you to tell me if they're alkanes, alkenes, or alkynes. Pause me and then check your answers. All right, so here are the answers. How'd you do? That's if I give you the molecular formula. Now let's do some with the structural formulas. All right, there's 3. I want you to name them. Are they alkane, alkene, or alkyne? And then pause me right now, and I'll give you the answers. No. Alrighty, here's the answers. How'd you do? Make sure that you can do that. After you can do that, I want you to go on to the next video.